Kobe Bryant, R.I.P. He gave himself the nickname Black Mamba. That's
on my list.
Is it? I couldn't put it in there. I loved it, but when I heard that,
it's such a great fucking name.
Let's get dumb and have some fun. Let's get dumb and have some fun. Let's get dumb and have some fun. Get dumb and have some fun.
welcome to Let's Get Dumb, the podcast where I, comedian Joe Kilgallon, and comedian Jonah Jurkens like to ask dumb questions, tell dumb stories, make dumb lists, and just have a dumb old time with you. Jonah, Jeff, Jurkens, Triple J in the fucking house, back in the flesh. How are you, my friend?
I am fantastic. We're back together. I will say the last 2 weeks have been horrible because I've had to deal with our producer Austin the whole time.
Yeah, you went down to Miami. Before we get into all of that, let's welcome the listeners back. I was off the podcast for three episodes almost because my whole family got the flu one after another. All the kids got sick, all of them. And luckily I dodged the bullets there. I didn't get any illness my way, but I had to take care of them. I had to be responsible.
Yeah.
So producer Austin stepped in. Shout out to comedian Sarah Perry. She was also there. So it worked out great. We checking levels on the sound already?
Oh, yeah. We got it. Okay. We're good? Okay, cool.
Good. Perfect. So on this episode, though, we're coming back with a good one.
Yeah.
Coming back with a good one. NFC, AFC championship just happened. It's not football related, but it's sports. So we're doing top 5 sports nicknames. But let's get into a little.
You forget how many great ones are out there.
So many good ones. So we got a few honorable mentions we're going to shout out there. But you were gone. You were in Florida for a little while. That's why you did all those episodes in one day to stockpile them. How was Miami? And you ran into producer Austin.
It was good. Austin, our producer, was in Miami. My first night.
I was in Fort Lauderdale, though.
Shut up. Nobody fucking cares, dude. My first night in Miami, I met up with our producer Austin in front of the podcast, Chris Bader, and we had a great time. Chris Bader is a bit of he's got a how would you describe Chris, Austin?
Going nowhere.
Going nowhere.
True. Okay. That's a good point.
No, I'm just kidding.
But
Chris is a funny comedian. He's got his own podcast.
He owns a bunch of bars. He's kind of like he's a scene guy.
No, he just knows everybody.
That's a scene guy. This is a 22-year-old saying this. So he's a scene guy, right? So we go to this place called Delilah's, which is a little sceney, and we go up.
It's where celebrities go.
Sure. And we go up. My favorite thing, and I don't know if this is going to translate to the podcast, but I have to mention it, is that we show up. There's a whole table. Nobody's there. It's just me, Austin, Chris Bader, my girlfriend, Laura. And I'm kind of confused because why we have this huge table, right? You know, Austin, because he's a child, he gets chicken fingers.
It was also,
my man.
Dude, the menu was like $60 or plus, and that was the cheapest thing. I didn't want to be a dick.
I respect that. If you're not paying, go cheap. You know what I mean? I have that thing too. Every now and then I'll be with someone with some money, and they'll be like, "What do you want to drink?" And I just go, "I'll take an Old Sound." They go, "You sure?" I'm like, "Dude, yeah, man," because I don't want to be one of those guys.
Yeah.
What am I gonna fucking go top shelf Manhattan? No.
Yeah.
I'm not blue collar kid. Not gonna do it.
So we're with Chris. He's another guy. He's like a real estate guy and nice guy. But we're still kind of empty. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I'm telling you, Joe, like 15 guys kind of come out of nowhere. And then I hear Austin out of the side of his mouth, very honestly, very earnestly goes, "Where do all these men come from?" And
way too much sex into that voice.
Yeah, well, that's how it sounded.
Way too much sex.
That's how it sounded. He goes, "It's just," so for a whole week, I just kept being like, "Where do these men come from?" Like whenever, anytime like two guys would come out of nowhere, I'm like, "Where do these men come from, Laura?" Like I've never heard concern like, "Oh my," it was like early gay panic that came out of this guy's. Yeah, it sounded like an episode of Entourage.
It's funny to use the word men because most people be like, "Where
these guys come?" Yeah, these guys. Right? He goes. Then Austin goes because Austin's respectful.
Yeah.
He goes, "Where all these men come from?"
And man.
The way you say it, it makes it sound like he's like fanning himself off. Like, where did all these men come from?
Yes, that's what it sounded like. It was insane. You know when you hear some
sweat going, Austin? There,
I was nervous about why they were all shaking Chris Bader's hand.
Yeah, they were really. But you know when you hear somebody say something and you know they didn't mean it that way, but it came across that way.
Yeah, you all the time.
Yes. I do that all the time.
With the homoerotic shit.
Yeah. Where you're like, do you know you said it that way? You're like, I did. Like, whatever. Yeah. It's just like I have a friend named Pri, and people get her name wrong. Jonah, people get my name wrong all the time. And I was at a party, and a friend of ours was like, do you have a printer? Like, she just asked for a printer for some, I don't know why, right? And then I heard Pre out of the side of her mouth go, it's Pre, not printer. Right? And then I go, did you think that she thought your name was Printer? And she goes, did you hear that? I go, I will only hear that from now on. So now her name's Printer. So I call her Printer every time I see her. It's one of those things where it's like, you just have like a thought, but your brain says it out loud.
I'm really glad you shared that with everybody.
Hey, fuck you. That was a great story.
That was a joke.
That was a great story.
Hey, man, right here. I love you.
That was a great story.
Yeah, Joe's back.
By the way, hey, I missed you.
I missed you too, man. Hey, you didn't?
No, of course I did.
3 weeks, man. I missed you so much. I was just fucking with you, dude. It was more me giving shit to Printer. I don't like Printer.
She's great.
Is she great?
She's incredible.
She seems very sensitive about her name.
Oh, I know that was the funniest part.
I'm sure Printer's great.
Yeah, it's a little like everyone's talking about me. Ugh, Printer again.
It is funny when
also a friend asked if you have a printer. Who's a printer anymore? Do you have a printer?
That's a weird one.
That's a weird one, right?
Remember,
it's like asking if you have a scanner. Do you have a scanner?
Chicago comedian legend Danny Kells used to have a great joke that I'm not going to do justice right now because the context will be out of place.
Love this joke. I know what joke you're talking about.
Where someone says, "Do you have a printer?" And he goes, "Printer? I don't have a printer because I ain't gay.
I ain't gay.
I ain't gay."
He was those gay people always printing shit.
These gays always printing shit.
Yeah.
Like, I just love that joke because it's so fucking absurd.
So absurd.
Like, who would associate like gay men have printers? But it's funny because if I were to like poll all of my friends, say I polled 100 friends, and the ones who would have printers and the ones that are gay, there'd probably be an overlap.
Yeah.
I think my gay friends are more likely to own a printer.
Ask me how many I have.
How many printers do you have?
2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you need some? If you need some shit printed, I'll print it for you.
I would like to print some.
I had to go to.
Then you need to print some shit.
You do. I had to go to. Not Kinko's, but I had to go to FedEx to print some shit out, and it was insane how expensive it is. It was like $20 for me to borrow a computer for 8 minutes to print some shit, to sign some shit, to send some shit.
Did I ever tell you the story of when I was like 21? I was like 21.
No,
I decided to drop out of college and I wanted to get into like comedy, but I didn't want to be a comedian. I wanted to be a screenplay writer.
Oh, really?
Yes, that was my first dream. And so,
by the way, you said yes, like yes.
Also, this queer talk, which we support.
Yeah.
Don't flag us, YouTube. No, we support it for real.
Good.
Yeah, we love it.
I was called queer presenting the other day.
Good for you, Austin.
Like a girl came up to me and was like, I feel comfortable around you because you're very queer presenting. I went. I had a gold chain and a watch on, and I was like, what? And then I walked around like Vietnam War, like I couldn't believe what I was told.
Well, I don't know if we talked about when we did the podcast, but Joe, you and I, sorry to interrupt here, and we're going to go back to your conversation, but like we were at the Chicago Comedy Awards.
That's right.
Yeah.
You won an award.
We both won awards.
Well, hold that thought. Let me finish my thing real quick because you're talking about how expensive printing is. I was like 21 or so. I dropped out of college. I started sketch writing at Second City and Improv. Again, I had no desire to be a stand-up. And I wrote a screenplay about my high school experience. And the movie Superbad came out like 2 months later, which stole half the idea. Didn't steal. We just had parallel thoughts. It wasn't stealing. They beat me to the punch.
I did the same
thing. I was so excited when I finished writing it. No structure at all, by the way. I didn't follow any of the rules of screenplay writing. But it was about 126 pages. I'm like, I got to print this.
You wrote a 2-hour movie?
I'm like, I got to print this. So I went through a Kinko's. It cost me like $63.
Yeah.
And I printed it anyway. I'm like, I was so proud of myself. I'm like, look at this. It says the name of the movie. It was written by Joe Kilgallon. I'm like, this is so fucking dope.
What was it called?
It's called The Stud Section.
Nice. Okay.
Because at my high school, the student section where like we would cheer and like, go nuts because we used to get drunk and go to the basketball games.
Yeah.
And just fucking be like crazy with chants and stuff. And it was called the Stud Section, short for the student section.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure said Stud Section and shit. Real dumb at the time.
Yeah.
But the whole movie was basically like a coming of age high school movie, typical, right? But I went to an all guys Chicago Catholic high school. So I'm like, man, I want one that's about this lifestyle because every high school movie, especially at that time, it was like, oh, the rich kid's parents are out of town. It was some suburban mansion that they'd go party at. Someone would jump into the pool, all this crazy shit where I'm like, no, I want to see a movie where Chicago kids are drinking in shitty alleys and we're drinking 40-ounce beers because that's all we could afford.
Yeah.
Like that lifestyle, drinking in crappy basements. Like, I gave the script to a bunch of my friends who lived that life, so of course they loved it.
Yeah, of course.
But then I remember reading about screenplays being like, oh, I followed no structure to this at all.
Yeah.
So I got to rewrite this. And the thing was, I had saved it on a floppy disk. That's how long ago this was.
You saved it on a floppy disk?
And then the floppy disk didn't work anymore. No, this was 2007, man.
Yeah.
I was 21, 22.
Yeah.
22.
No mini disc? You can put it on a mini disc?
I'd have to rewrite that thing from scratch, copying it from the printed paper.
That's so crazy because I have a very similar story that I also saved on floppy, which is I wrote a script about a guy waking up after his 21st birthday trying to figure out what happened on his 21st birthday.
The Hangover.
Yeah. But then The Hangover came out. Yeah. And I saved that shit to floppy too.
I know. I remember seeing Superbad like 4 months later. So obviously it was just similar thoughts, but there was like at least 2 or 3 scenes that were like, oh my God, I have almost the same scene.
Same with Hangover.
Yeah. With the fake ID thing. I had a good, because we had fake IDs that were terrible. Yeah. We had a fake ID where I probably told this on the podcast before, saying it again. New listeners, I had a fake ID, not me, but a good friend of mine had a fake ID where the birthday was 2/31/82. February 31st.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
A month that doesn't have 31 days, doesn't have 30, and rarely has a fucking 29th.
Do you remember the name of that? Was it Joe?
No, I think it was like some bullshit name like, like Mike Stevenson or something like that. But the fucking, that was really bad.
I do miss the years of meeting somebody that kind of looks like you, who's over 21, and you're like, hey, funny thing. Do you want some money right now? Because I'll buy your ID from you.
So anyone listening underage, here's a little tip for you from Jonah Jurkens and I. You are better off getting a real ID from someone who kind of looks like you.
A little bit
like you than to buy your actual photo on a fake. Because if you get caught with that, that's more serious.
Yeah, you could go to jail.
You could. It's way more serious. So I eventually had a dude whose name I won't say because he might listen to the podcast, but he knows who he is. Let's just say for the sake of it, his name is Jake McKellen. That's the name of the Scotch whiskey guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So Jake looked enough like me, not a lot, but enough. Was like, it's passable, fine. I remember giving him like $40. He goes to make a copy of that ID, which at the time probably cost like $20. So he pockets $20. You take him out to lunch too. It's a nice, classy move. And I used that ID and it worked a lot. Then when I turned 21, I went to a bar where I used the fake a bunch. And when I walked in showing the real ID, the door guy called me by the fake ID.
Yeah.
He didn't say, what up, Joe? He said, hey, Jake McKellen, good to see you again. And every time he came to pick up the empty, he's like, hey, Mr. McKellen, you need anything else? Which was hilarious because he's like, I knew it was fake all along.
Right.
But you showed me something real, so my bar couldn't get in trouble. And I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? Because I thought he would have been a little bit like, what the fuck, dude? He didn't care.
So my ID, I didn't know this person, so I'm gonna dox them right now. So it was Eric T. Borst. And my whole thing was like, hey, when I show my ETs, just call me ET, right? And then I'm like, I fucking done told you about the ET bullshit. Like, stop doing that. That was the whole like,
I like it.
Yeah, and I went to this bar the day before my 21st birthday, used the fake, and then I went to the same bar the day of my 21st birthday, used my real ID, same bouncer, and he was just like, are you fucking serious, dude? He was just like, really, man? I was just like, well, yeah, I mean, whatever. Come on. We all are aware. So I lost my ID when I was 20. I might have mentioned this on the podcast before. I lost my ID when I was 22 for a weekend. And like, you know how I love drinking, right? So I had to use my fake as an adult. That's the worst. When you're still like...
It's crazy you still had that.
I know. Because I thought it was funny.
I would love to see a fake ID today because I want to see how much they've progressed. They've got to be amazing. Man.
Right.
They've got to be. I have a cousin who they messed up her ID naturally at the DMV. She went to the DMV like when she got a driver's license. And it took her like 6 months to realize it. All of a sudden, she was looking at a real government-issued ID, which this isn't that surprising. You know, government employees, like most employees, fuck up from time to time. And she looked down and realized, this has me a year older than I actually am. So when she turned 21, or when she turned 20, on her 20th birthday, she was able to go to bars with a real, genuine ID.
Oh, that's great.
That nobody would know. I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Because they just genuinely fucked up.
I do miss that nervousness of... presenting your ID.
Shout out to my cousin Kelly. That's who I'm talking about, who just started a podcast. I can't remember the name of it, but on the next episode, I'll plug it.
We should have her on.
We should.
Let's do a crossover.
She's a therapist. It's her and another therapist talking about
you need that.
Therapy.
And you need that.
I definitely need that. I don't know if I want it from my from my blood.
Could you imagine if your therapist was your cousin?
That's got to be bizarre.
Right?
Because they know you too well.
Or she's just like, that's not how that happened.
I've always wanted to hit her up to be like, But then I'm like, nah, it's a cousin. That's too weird. But I would want to, maybe I'll ask her for, I need a new therapist. So I would like to get like a referral. I need a therapist. I've been going to therapy in a long time and I need one. Anyway,
I'll be your therapist.
Well, oh yeah, I'm sure you'd be great at that. Let's talk about the awards real quick, everyone, because we did tell our listeners that we were nominated. Let's Get Done was nominated for Best Podcast in the Chicago Comedy Awards. I was nominated for Best Comedy Album. Neither of us won,
but we won other things.
We won. They did these gag awards where I won comedian most likely to get drunk at Power Hour and then throw his shoes at a building or something like that.
Best breakdown at Power Hour, I think,
or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it was then to throw the shoe thing because then when I was on stage accepting the award, I took the shoe off and I threw it at Joan and he caught it.
I caught it.
And he threw it back and I caught it. So that was fun. There's this great photo that someone took where the shoes in midair.
Really?
Toward you. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's awesome.
That.
Yeah.
Were you shocked by that you won that?
No, well, because Brandon Kiefer, a great dude who we need to get on the podcast.
I love that guy.
Awesome.
He's
guy.
so funny.
I love that guy too. He told me ahead of time because he was co-hosting it with Jerry Hadami, who
also should be a guest.
Yeah, for 100%. He runs the Comedy Gazelle, which is a really cool web magazine.
Logo Chicago.
Yeah, he had Dan Soder on the recent interview, and he's interviewed some big names, Doug Stanhope, me. So yeah, he's had some good interviews on that. If you're a comedy fan, you would love the Comedy Gazelle, even if you're not specifically a Chicago comedy fan, because it's a lot of Chicago stuff, but then it's also national and the scope of stand-up and comedy in general. Enough of that, but he meant to make sure I was going to be there because he didn't want to give that award if I'm not going to be there.
Oh yeah.
And then your award was because you also won.
I got richest most closeted gay man.
Yes.
Which I like because he told me 5 minutes before he goes, "Hey, you're gonna win an award," and I was like, "What?" And I was like, "I don't know." I knew it was gonna be either the gay thing or the rich thing. So I already
because you had heard him do other awards that were gag awards
because they give away the poorest comedian. So I was like, oh, there's going to be a richest, and I bet you that's probably for new listeners, whatever it is, what it is. But it's I knew it was going to happen, so I already was kind of coming up with my speech in my head. Because you had a good speech. Did you know?
I didn't prepare, though. I kind of winged it.
Okay.
Like at Marty DeRosa's wedding, where I was told I had to give a speech 8 minutes beforehand.
8 minutes? I remember that,
You guys were all very proud of me.
Yeah, yes, and we all pimped you out.
Well, you pimped me because I was in the bathroom and I came back and they're like, you're going to give a speech. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
He goes, well, Marty came up going, hey, one of my comedian friends should say something. And you guys were like, Joe will.
And you did a great job.
Oh, thank you so much.
You really did.
So with the speech, what I liked about getting my award was, like most award shows, they kind of had it set up where people are at certain tables. As he's saying it, I already started to walk up toward the stage.
Yeah.
It's like, this is describing me and everyone.
You walked on the stage, too. I remember that, right?
I remember kind of stepping on the stage. So we lost Best Comedy Podcast, or Best Podcast to, I forget the whole name of the podcast.
We can't say it out loud.
I meant, it's called Another Hispanic with a Podcast.
Yeah.
And I met the dude in passing. I said, hey, nice job or whatever. Nothing against him. It might be a great podcast. I have no idea.
Ours is better.
I'm sure it is. But there was another podcast that won it the previous years called Bad Comedy Podcast. And those dudes thought it was going to be between us and them, basically. So in my head, I'm like, if those dudes win, I'm going to throw my shoe at them while they're accepting their award.
Oh, fine.
I thought that'd been a fun
that would have been great.
Thing.
Yeah.
Wasn't the case. I'd like to know what the final vote was, if we were second or third in the vote.
Yeah.
We had 4 nominees. So we were thrilled to be nominated in general.
Of course.
Because the nominees, we didn't campaign to be nominated.
Right.
So that means enough people just threw us in the ring.
Right.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And I felt good about Best Comedy Album. I was up against Adam Burke. Chris Higgins won it. Chris Higgins has 125,000 Instagram followers. He has 120,000 more than me on Instagram. Why are my numbers so shit on Instagram, by the way?
I don't know.
You should think about that. You should figure that out.
I have like 5,800. It's embarrassing.
You're a good TikTok, though.
TikTok's pretty good. 50,000.
YouTube's incredible.
YouTube's, the views are shit, but the subscribers are there, which I like.
Sell it.
Anyhow, I got to step it up, guys. It's depressing. I just got sad. I just got sad thinking about it. It's so hard. But anyhow, and then Kristen Toomey's, who's the specials I was against?
Toomey's up there. Yeah.
No, Toomey was nominated for Best Comedian. I was nominated
Dan
for Best
Cass.
Comedian.
His
Was Dan? There was like
nominated.
yeah,
He
Dan.
didn't know. I had to tell him, and he's like, "You're fucking." And
Yeah, it
I
was-
showed him, and he freaked out. He's like,
Yeah.
nominate me." I was like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
And I went, "I didn't."
I did not win though. Chris Higgins won. I'm gonna have to watch. Chris Higgins is a very, 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 very good stand-up comedian. He's awesome. I like that dude. But I'm gonna have to watch his to see how good it is, or if he just has more of a following and that's why he won.
I mean, he's got a lot. He's got over 1 million followers.
It's good. Well, on TikTok, he's over 1 million, and on Instagram, he's got a shitload too. So I'd be very curious to see if it's legitimately better, if he's just more popular. Just throwing that out there.
I like that I won. Also, by the way, like I had probably 10 people come up to me and been like, "Hey, I just want to let you know," because like you could write in your own like category. They go, "I just want you to know that I wrote you in for gayest comedian," and I was like, "What?"
That wasn't even a category.
I know. They're like, "Yeah," but like I thought about that. I thought it was funny, and you're the first person that came into my mind, and I was like, "Huh," and then I end up winning, and you're like, "Huh." And then, like, I think the first thing I said is I just want to let you know that you finally see me for what I am, which was a nice thing. And I did like the whole like money thing was nice because it was like, oh, I just want to thank my parents for dying.
Your speech was great. That was really funny. I like that.
I thought that through in my head because you know what's nice about that, and like to be honest with our listeners, where it's just like it's nice where I can finally like show our community why it is where I'm at. And it was kind of like, because I also said I want to thank fentanyl for killing my dad.
That was so funny. Yeah, your speech was great, man. You had a great speech.
Yeah,
everyone liked your speech, and I like that. To give you more of a compliment, to be fair, there was probably, I'd bet half that audience didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
So, because like you're very much part of the scene, but I feel like there's another wave.
I'm also very separated.
Very separated, right? So, where say that half the people didn't know who you were, a quarter didn't know me.
Yeah.
More people know me than you, but I think a quarter. So
yes.
That's why it was good for that to happen, because then it's like, oh, this guy's funny. He's got a sense of humor about his situation. That's cool. This is great. And it made you relatable. You know what I mean?
I felt good. It wasn't
like you were just some trust fund kid. It was like, no, some shit went down.
No, like
I was childhood and blah, blah, blah.
And I like that I put the button on it where it goes, I just want to let everybody here know that I have enough money to buy your family to make them hate you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was great. That was very good. People, I loved that speech. I thought it was wonderful. So next year we'll try to campaign a little bit more to try to get best podcast, or also who really gives a shit. These awards at the end of the day don't matter.
But
I
really
thought you got hosed. You should have at least gotten nominated for best producer. Because you produce comedians, you should know. Maybe next year, now that people know you, you'll probably get nominated.
What's the show here in Chicago, here in LA, and not here, but like LA and New York. Like you and I both run together.
So produce comedians you should know, which is the best local showcase.
Yeah.
You produce Blackout Diaries, and
you're shooting a pilot for Netflix.
Yeah, Brews and Bad Movies, and all these shows sell out consistently. Mm-hmm. Stephanie Robertson, who won, is great. So I'm not taking anything away from her.
She's great.
Although I will say this, Roast Battle is phenomenal. I got to be a panelist on Roast Battle Chicago. Unbelievable what they do. Pack it out. And
always fun.
They do great. They won Best Independent Comedy Show. You are not an independent comedy show.
No,
exactly.
I
Awesome.
don't even go, and I knew that.
So many people were saying to me afterwards.
That's like Paul Farmer saying he's funny.
So many people. There's an inside joke.
We'll have him on soon.
Yeah. So there's so many comics who afterwards were being like, Roast Battle's not a fucking independent. It's not an independent show. It's got major backing. It's in 20 fucking cities.
Yeah.
And it was a Comedy Central show. Like I know they independently run it, meaning it's run by comedians. And I'm not taking.
And they work hard at it, and they do a good job at it.
They're amazing. Right. Stephanie Robertson, Chris Grieco. I think
all of them.
Who else is now part of it? There's another person who's part of it now too.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. No. Max is part of it now.
Oh, Max.
What's Max's last name? I'm blanking on Max. I'm such a dick right now. I want to say Max Walter, but that's not his name.
No, it's not my.
Max, if you're listening, dude, I've been drinking for a long time now.
Yeah.
And Max
we did have a 3-hour podcast before the podcast.
Well, we missed each other, so we had to talk about life.
Week we missed.
Yeah.
Which
really I do love a good
like
podcast before the podcast.
Max Sorich. I knew it was with an S. I'm sorry.
I knew
he's so funny, though.
I like
very
him.
funny.
He's a really good dude.
That dude's very funny.
He's a funny dude, yeah. All right, so anyway, that's... we summed it all up. Let's get into the list. You want to get the list?
Hold on. Can I tell you I wasn't there, and I was sad. I had someone text me in the morning being like, let's get done one best podcast. And I went... I like celebrate it. Like I woke up my girlfriend like we won.
Somebody lied to you about it?
Someone said
but
that.
Then 20 minutes later they went, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I totally misremembered. You did not win. It was actually they won. They won a separate award." And I was like genuinely sad. I was like, I gotta do better.
They probably saw like Instagram stories of Jonah holding something
They were
up.
there.
Yeah.
Fucking ceremony. That's why I texted them.
Honestly, God, I mean, I love our
Claire,
podcast.
wasn't it?
I love our podcast. And I have such a good time with all three of us. I'm including myself in that one. But the fact that we won separate to me meant more. Where it's like, because I saw Brandon Kiefer, who needs to be on the show. It was just so nice that he was just like, "Oh, I want to make sure that like Joe gets something, Jonah gets something."
Here's my other thing about the awards is that you won like best freak out or best meltdown.
Yeah.
I may have nominated you 9 times for that.
I nominated you for the last 3 years for that.
It was a fill-in category. Me and Jonah sat together and did it. And
Did you guys really?
Yeah,
I'm learning so much today about how much you guys talk. You guys talk about me so much when I'm not around.
We played movie games together. We used to.
Conversation piece.
But like we got to the bottom and I went, I'm gonna write best freak out for Joe.
Yeah.
And then Jonah went, I'll do it too. And then I was like, I want to use my other accounts for Let's Get Dumb, and then I couldn't come up with anything else, so I just kept putting best meltdown, best freak out, best breakdown. Like I kept rewording it too. then you won, and I literally went white. I texted the person who texted me. I was like, was Joe upset? And they went, no, Joe played it and he threw a shoe. It was really good.
He did.
Oh, thank God.
Dude, Joe murdered it.
Because I didn't think you had.
Okay, so
there's no competition for that.
I'm sorry.
Not gonna lie, I thought I had a great speech. I thought you had an incredible speech too. I think if you didn't listen to the podcast before, if you didn't listen to the podcast before and you watched our speeches together, you're listening to the podcast now. I was like, that's my boy up there. That's my boy up there.
I can't remember what I said. What did I say?
You crushed it. It was one of those, it's funny things because the way Brandon did it, it was a slow build.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I know exactly who this is. Like, you get really excited where it's your friend. You're like, fuck yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
People who were in the crowd who knew where I was sitting, they started to turn their heads a little bit, being like, and I went, all right. So I started to walk before he finished the last couple words of the thing. Because he just knew.
The only thing that sucked, though, is that you don't have a fucking nickname. We need to figure out nicknames. Because you know who has the best fucking nicknames? Athletes.
They do. Look at that. Fucking what a pro. What a goddamn pro. Been in Miami the last 3 weeks. Hasn't missed a fucking beat. God damn it. I'm going to call you Jonah Smooth transition.
Yeah, Jonah Sexy Fish.
Triple J Jonah Smooth.
Sexy Fish is not
Sexy Fish. That's not. Shout out to that place in Miami.
It's not.
Yes.
Don't go there.
I have had nicknames growing up. I was called Special K, Joey K, Killer.
No, you also called Joe fucking Kilgallon.
Joe Kill fucking Gallon.
Yeah.
The fucking is in between the two.
If you don't think
Joey Sweet Dick. What else have I been
That's what I called you. That's what my mouth calls you.
All right, but yeah, we want to do professional athletes, and just so our listeners know, because we got a lot of wrestling fan listeners, professional wrestlers do not count. Jonah and I already talked about this. Maybe for WrestleMania week, we will drop an episode of the podcast in which we will do best wrestler names, because wrestlers, the whole point is to have a cool nickname. So it doesn't really. This is a different category.
Joe, so can I tell you something? So next week is my birthday, and what I would really like to do is I want to do a top 5. I can't believe they're younger than me list.
Jonah's been talking about it.
Yeah,
I know.
Can I tell you something? Because I watched Lethal Weapon yesterday.
Danny Glover younger than you in that?
Yeah.
Holy fuck! Really?
Yeah. Where he goes,
When he says his whole thing is, I'm too old for this shit.
He's 41, I think, when that happens. I'm 42 in a week.
Oh my God.
I know. Can you? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of that? Also, Joe Montana. Joe Montana looks so goddamn old. Speaking of nicknames, like
Joe Montana.
Yeah, back then he's only 28, or he's in his 20s.
Joe Montana in Lethal Weapon?
No.
Why'd you bring up Joe Montana though?
Because I'm talking about sports, but my point is like when he was winning championships, he was younger than he was 10 years younger than us. He looks
great now though. He
does. He's a very good attractive man. Yeah. But I'm saying he still looks older than you and I. I'd argue that he looks a lot older than you and I.
Oh yeah.
Emmett Smith looks
the whole cast of Cheers. Like the thing is,
the cast of Cheers.
Here's what people don't realize for all of our very young listeners, those of you in your teens and 20s, you got to understand, you used to be able to smoke inside. You used to be able to smoke cigarettes in bars and restaurants.
Yeah.
That's why everybody looks so much older previously. Also, we did not drink water. Mm-hmm. Nobody drank water.
It wasn't important back then.
It was not important. I didn't have a single, from the time I was born till when I was I had sips of water from water fountains. That was a thing. And maybe during a sports game, but even gamers, you drinking Gatorade.
Yeah.
Like you did not drink water.
Which was 100 grams of sugar.
I know. It's horrible. We didn't. We just didn't. Nobody pushed it. Nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah.
That was the thing. So
I want to know, I'm just so excited to know your list of you being like, I can't believe I'm fucking older than this person.
It's going to be something. And I know there's a quote from some show or some movie where it's like, there comes a time in every man's life where they're like, oh my God, I am older than every professional athlete.
Oh, it's crazy
that I watch.
When you start feeling like I'm just watching middle school football, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
And I just don't feel that way because, like, I was fortunate enough. I've been fortunate enough to have two little periods of my life where, like, stretches where I've hung out with professional athletes actively.
Right.
The one time was great, even though I was older than them as well. But I wasn't older than all of them.
But does it feel like it?
So when I was like 20, so from late 2010 to 2013, I hung out with a bunch of the Chicago Blackhawks. And it was great because they were winning Stanley Cups. Yeah. When they won the Stanley Cup in 2013, I got to be one of the first non-people there to kiss it. They brought it to this bar at 5:30 in the morning. We're at the flight. I met them at the bar. I was there. I got to go to all these Stanley Cup parties. There's this great picture of me that I saved from a website. There's a website which shows Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews like holding up the cup, and you see me right behind them.
Oh, nice.
So, like, yeah, I was good friends with this dude, Dave Bolin. Shout out to Boley, fucking great dude. All those dudes are amazing. By the way, Canadians in general are cool as fucking people. Yeah. So when I was hanging out with them, although Bolin's like 2 years younger than me, for the most part, I was like within that wheelhouse. My second run, though, was in 2018. I got to do a charity show. Anthony Rizzo, Cub World Series hero, a few-time All-Star, great dude. He's one of the most charitable players in baseball. He was with the Yankees the last couple of years. He had this event. I got to stand up at it, and then I did another event for his event again, and then I've done some stuff with Ryan Dempster. When I was doing those events, I was like, oh, fuck, I'm older than all these guys. But I was still old enough. I was still young enough to be a professional athlete. So in my head, I'm like, I'm 35, 36.
Yeah,
these dudes
my
are all
knees
26.
Are so good.
I was like, these guys are 27, 26, 28. But I was still there. I was at spring training 2 years ago, and I'm like, I'd be considered, if I got signed. Like if they sign, I'm getting minor league contracts with a shot at making the camp.
Yeah, you're like what's his face in who's the old pitcher movie?
Oh God, in Major League, or no, in Kevin Costner at the end there, but he was at least a star. Jesse Chavez, who's a good relief pitcher, he's 41.
You're like Invincible, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, you're just too old.
Drip check.
Can you explain that to everyone? Because that was a shout out. You did a call back
a couple weeks ago. Yeah,
few episodes ago.
Yeah,
Mark Wahlberg does drip check. Everybody.
Yeah,
he's a dork.
He's a dork.
I'm
what
excited.
else I watched?
Wait, hold on. Can I have a request first, Joe? Can you put a pin on that comment about smoking and water?
Put a pin on it. Show what do you mean?
He interrupted you, and I was really enjoying it.
Yeah. So here's the thing, Gen Z listeners, anyone who's in their teens and 20s, you have to understand there was a time in which you could smoke everywhere indoors. And that's why when you look back on your parents being like, why did my dad look like he was 52 when he was 26? It's because when he ate pancakes, someone was smoking cigarettes right across from him. That was the smoking and non-smoking section of restaurants was fucking ridiculous. There was no actual wall. It was like, we'll put a couple plants between a shelf and it's open air and everyone's smoking. And that's why we all look terrible. Nobody washed their face. Everyone I know who's in their 30s started drinking water for the first time a week ago. Like, we just didn't do that shit. It's like, so that's why whenever I see these dudes with their coiffed hair and they're like fucking tanks of water, I want to tell them, you don't fucking understand. Okay. We had a different life back then. Fuck your wellness. By the way, I'm so over wellness shit, by the way. I've got friends who are in the wellness community. It's annoying. I want to text them every day going like, you're going to die anyway. You think you're going to feel the difference? You think someone who dies at 85 feels any different than someone who dies at 80? They don't. They live 5 extra years to eat oats. You fucking dork.
I can't wait till your kids are going to prom.
Yeah, it's like fun.
Yeah, they're fucking coiffed hair and they're fucking you're gonna decimate your prom court. Like the prom court, that's when your kids are there. 10 more years, buddy. Man. You're gonna destroy them.
Well, I mean, we all had their stupid hairstyles. We all had.
Dude, the new one is the fucking wavy.
They all have this curl. They are getting perms.
Oh, getting perms.
Statistically speaking, 90% of dudes don't. Curly hair is like a fucking rare. It's rare.
Do you have naturally curly hair?
I have naturally curly hair.
So does that make you mad?
It does.
Yeah, right?
It does.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, and you know what? I once found out there's this dude I knew. And everyone's like, he's got the nicest blue eyes. I can't even remember his name. I don't want to say it. Jack. He had. It's always everyone. Jack. I remember a bunch of girls being like, he's the nicest blue eyes, and his brother ratted on me like they're colored contacts.
Shut up.
And then the next time I saw him, I'm like, oh, it's so obvious. Now I can see it.
Yeah.
And then for a couple weeks, he figured out because everyone kept looking closely at him. Yeah. Oh, I was pissed because I'm like, these are natural blues, bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not color contacting it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we cut to the you bitching about red hair, blue eyes? How like you're 3%? Can we cut that?
Oh, that's a great moment.
Great clip.
Great moment.
One of
In a sense.
the 1%.
In a sense.
In a sense.
It's cultural appropriation. In a sense.
Like, it was my way of being like, don't go too far down this rabbit hole.
I love you, Austin. But like, it's so fun watching our clips sometimes where I'm like, that's the most Joe thing ever, and it makes me appreciate you in a way that you'll never understand. Like, it's just. But you know what also I know is that you'll never appreciate me when the clip is focused on me.
Why?
And that makes me appreciate you more because you're not a good friend.
I was going to return the compliment by saying Jonah's such a great storyteller. And then you fucking burned me for no goddamn reason.
That's what I do.
Okay.
All right, but let's do a few.
I buried you, Jonah. Sorry, I just that was a good clip, and I wanted.
Hey, they call me Jonah the Barrier Jurkens.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to out you.
Hey man, you're a good producer for a reason. All right, so let's do.
By the way, so okay, so let's cut in that clip. I know what you're doing, but you need to know this. That is,
What is that written right there?
Yes, what I was going to say. So I open my our top fives. I write down handwritten.
I do the phone thing.
Yeah, you do the phone thing. Austin, our producer, sometimes writes things because he notices it, and his is I have a chubby cock.
Good job, Austin.
Huh?
Sorry, I just like to make him feel bad because he writes things down like an idiot.
It's fun.
Yeah,
I like
idiot.
that. All right, we're gonna do.
Spell right.
Oh, what the fuck? Did I just delete my shit?
Oh no.
Oh, I thought I did.
This is why you have to write it down.
There you go.
This is why you need a chubby cock. This is why you need a chubby cock, dude.
Who's to say I don't have one?
I think
No, you have a chubby cock. I bet I have a chubby cock. The fact that both of you got
My
really quiet after that.
My cock actually does sit-ups. It's got a tight six-pack.
Got a better core
I've got
than
that
you?
V on
So
it.
what do you think is better?
The V goes towards my balls.
Oh, Jonah.
Distance or thick?
Did you hear me? I said it has a better core than him.
Oh,
I got a terrible core. And by the way, I'm not going to work on it either.
Yeah, it's crazy because your back hurts, but your dick is great.
My hips hurt from carrying around this hog. Hog squad.
Oh,
yeah.
So I decided I'm not going to work on anything anymore. So next time you tell me to have to work on my core, I'm going to be like, I don't fucking give a shit.
We should work out together. We should do a video of it.
Dude,
Jonah, you've been saying that.
I don't like saying my age because it hurts your career. And the listeners are going to be like, these dudes are 40. We're both, you're 41, I'm 40.
42.
You're about to be 42.
About to 42. Oof.
I'm 40. I got about 25 more years left?
What?
Why
No,
would I
you
fucking-
wish.
Why would I waste my time?
Why would you waste extending your life?
Just lift some
It's
weights.
written in the stars.
Joe,
Lift some weights.
Joe,
Look
look
All
at
right,
that,
fine.
Look at that face.
I'll be one of those people.
Look at this face.
Who lifts weights.
Look how great this face
Pick heavy
is.
shit up and put it back
You
down.
watch a sports just dude.
Look how great this face is. Add fucking a six pack to it.
By the way, no skincare routine whatsoever.
We need to talk about that.
I need one. I really don't have one at all. I don't moisturize.
Are you fucking serious not at all?
I swear to God.
Could you imagine
zero.
how attractive you'd be if you did?
I would say 50% of the time, I don't wash my face before I go to sleep.
Shut up.
Swear to God.
Okay.
Maybe
the best advice I ever
60%.
got was from a comedy club here in Chicago, Comedy Bar, and we know the owner, but he goes, you need to start washing your face because like you're starting to look old. And he goes, moisturize, whatever. And then I was 32 and I started doing it. And like, I'm telling you, Joe.
You look 48, man. What are you talking about?
Nice. High five.
Hey.
I'm joking. No,
you know
look
both of
great.
you are liars.
You look great. You do. You're a good looking
I
man.
think you look good.
You do. You look good, man.
I know. Thank you. I'm saying like, could you imagine?
I know.
Could you imagine if you did? Like, let me show you. Let me show you.
I like Joe's look.
Would
I
I
like
be- would I
Joe's
be
look.
like-
I think
You know what? For your
perfect.
birthday, I'm going to buy you all the moisturizers. All
He's
of
not
them.
gonna fucking.
Oh,
use
thanks. It's 9 months from now. But,
You know what? Couldn't come too quick.
I'll be so ugly by then.
You're not. You're gonna be the most handsome boy in the whole entire world.
The most handsome boy.
In the whole entire world.
All right, we're going to get into the list, everybody. We've been teasing it for 40 fucking minutes now.
Yeah.
Top 5 sports nicknames. There's some great ones out there. Can I
so
do an
you-
honorable mention?
Yes.
You're going to go right back to my skincare routine, aren't you, right now?
No.
Okay, fine.
No. Go to honorable mention.
I was going to say top 5 greatest sports names. We're going to get into our list of our top 5 best sports nicknames.
a
But
lot of
before we
honorable.
do that, let's do some honorable mentions.
I have a lot.
Just do like 2.
So, okay. So, what did you want to be called? And then what were you called? Did you ever have a?
I was called Special K, which I liked. It was a good nickname.
Yeah.
And Joey K. I don't like any name in your initials. Those aren't.
Joey
that
seems
great.
kind of like condescending a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't love Joey because it was, I remember Special K was a really good nickname though because I thought that was pretty cool. But as far as nicknames, I remember one time someone called themselves the Master Blaster King of Disaster. And I was like, fuck, I want that nickname. Master Blaster King of Disaster sounds so cool.
Yeah.
But as far as nickname, like we'll get into our top 5 and why we think they're great.
Yeah.
But did you have any nicknames?
No, but like people call me Jurkens, and I hated that because
That's not a nickname. That's just your name.
I know, but I was always afraid that people didn't hear the S at the end, so it was just Jurkin, and then they would right.
How come we should call him Jonah Jerks?
No, don't do
Jerk.
that. Whoa, whoa,
Jerky boy.
I get that. I should have
beef jerky.
I should have a say in this. No, I should have a say in this. I should have a say in this.
And I'll say this: if you give yourself a nickname, you don't. Kobe Bryant, R.I.P. He gave himself the nickname Black Mamba. That's
on my list.
Is it? I couldn't put it in there. I loved it, but when I heard that,
it's such a great fucking name.
Can I give you my? I got 3. We'll both do 3 honorable mentions.
Okay.
These were really hard not to put in my top 5.
Yeah.
Honorable mention number 1 for me, and I hate his team, but I loved him as a player. Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt.
On my list.
Is he in your top 5?
I have a top 10, so yeah.
Okay, so he's in your honorable mention.
He's in my honorable mention.
That nickname, first of all, because he just looked like that nickname.
Dude.
Big Hurt.
He's such a badass.
Huge, badass. Fucking, he put a hurt on it. Like
so around the same time, you also have Ken Griffey Jr., who's the kid.
The kid is a great nickname too. And they called him that until he fucking was 40 and he retired.
I know. So what's better? I think the argument is Ken Griffey Jr. is a better player, but the Big Hurt is a better name.
Yeah, Griffey's a better all-around player. You could argue Frank Thomas might be a better hitter even.
Yeah.
All-around player, yeah, the kid's a better player.
This wasn't on my list, but like R.I.P. Bob Uecker's passed away, but Mr. Baseball. I mean, like, right?
Yeah. That was Robin Yountz? Who's Mr. Baseball?
Bob Uecker.
Oh, Bob Uecker. Yeah, R.I.P. Bob Uecker. We gave that great tribute to him.
Yeah.
At 90 years old, though. What a great run.
Yeah.
All right, so my next one...
Would you do an honorable?
Yeah, these are still my honorable mentions. My next one's from the great sport of hockey. One of the best players of the last 30 years. Everyone knows...
It's Mario.
This is a foreshadowing to... Super Mario is a great nickname, but this is the same team. This is a foreshadowing to... So they called Wayne Gretzky the Great One. Mm-hmm. This guy's nickname was the Next One.
Oh.
And his other nickname was Sid the Kid. I'm talking about Sidney Crosby.
Nice. Good one.
Sidney Crosby was such
good.
a... Still
Good
found...
for you.
Injuries really stopped him from truly being like right up there. He's still going to go down as one of the greatest players of all time. But he had that couple-year run where he barely played because of all the concussions, and it was really sad because that dude could dance with the fucking puck. Mm-hmm. He could go coast to coast. Like in basketball, when you get a rebound on one end, you dribble all the way down, going through everyone and dunking. He would do that in hockey, which is such a difficult sport to do that, to go from end to end, blue line to blue line, essentially, or not beyond that, really, and fucking score. Like he was a fucking human highlight reel and such an exciting player. But the next one is like Wayne Gretzky's the great one. He's the next one. That's just...
I like the next one more.
I kind of... The way the announcer said it, too, when they first crowned him that nickname, so good. All right, who's your next honorable mention?
Honorable mention. I fucking love it. Deion Sanders, Primetime.
Oh, God, that almost cracked my top 5.
Yeah.
That's such a good one. It did not, but it's
Primetime.
so fucking good.
Primetime is great. It's... Yeah.
Yeah, Primetime. So good. Because he was originally Neon Deion, which is like, fuck off. It's a rhyme.
I also like Neon Deion.
I like it too, but Primetime...
But Primetime is also like when you're doing baseball and football together, it's just like...
So our show, we produce Comedians You Should Know. When we were like... We're still selling out mostly, but we had this crazy run like in the middle of the last 10 years of running that show where it was like, we're selling out so much, there's demand. So I had this idea of like, we should do Saturday nights, once a month Saturday night, and call it CYSK Primetime.
Oh,
we'd take like 3
name.
of our favorites and let them do extended longer sets.
I like that.
It would have been a really cool branding thing. CYSK Primetime.
Okay, so can I do another honorable mention?
Yeah, and I'll do my last honorable mention. Then we'll get to our 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I have 2 honorable mentions.
All right, squeeze in 2.
Okay, Hector Macho Camacho.
Macho Camacho's good.
Right? Just a rhyme.
It's a rhyme, but it's a rhyme with flavor.
Yeah.
Good. It sounds like a good dish. Like I'd go to a Mexican restaurant.
Macho, like a good... when they're...
Spicy.
It's so good.
Very good. This last one is Vince Carter.
Nice.
One of the greatest dunkers of all time.
Amazing.
Half man, half amazing. That was his nickname. Half man, half amazing.
Yeah.
Or Vince Sanity was the other one, but I like half man, half amazing.
And he lived that up to his 40s. Like that's a dude where I'm like, I can't believe he
wasn't like that's where people were giving LeBron credit because LeBron's 40 and he's still fucking playing at a high level.
Athletic wise, not nearly.
Well, Vince Carter, his peak athleticism was better than LeBron in his peak athleticism.
Agreed.
LeBron was a lot stronger, but he wasn't the high flyer, the agility, the fucking hang time.
Yeah.
Like
LeBron's just a power.
He's a power
guy.
dunker.
Yeah.
LeBron James has never even entered a dunk contest, and maybe that's ego and some stuff. Like he's done some great in-game dunks, but it's just power.
Yeah.
Where Vince Carter was jumping over people, going between the legs, 360 around the back shit. Like an artist.
Yes. Incredible. So last honorable mention, I just love this. Mike Tyson, Kid Dynamite. I just love.
Oh man, he's got two great ones because Iron Mike.
He is Iron Mike too, but I like Kid Dynamite more.
The most dangerous man on the planet.
Yeah. But I just Kid Dynamite. I just fucking love. I actually have a lot of shirts that say Kid Dynamite on it. Like it's great.
I like that one a lot. All right, let's go with. I'll lead off with number 5 on my list. This one is so simple, and it's a play off his last name to an extent, but he is undeniably, to me, the greatest hockey player of all time. Wayne Gretzky, the great
one. Yeah.
Just to call someone the great one, is really pretty insane. And I'm going to take a step here and mention Michael Jordan right now. Not on my list. Air Jordan's not on my list.
Oh,
I love Air Jordan.
We're going to talk about that later,
but it's not on my list. But here's what I want to give Michael Jordan credit for. But it's not a nickname. Michael Jordan is. I was talking about this with someone.
You're forgetting his other nickname.
Okay, I might be. But let me tell you why. I was talking about the levels of fame. And Michael Jordan's level of fame is just, he is so great at what he does. Mm-hmm. People use his name to compliment other people.
Like you're the Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Of that. Yeah.
People will literally say like, that guy is the Michael Jordan of sushi chefs.
Yeah.
That guy is the Michael Jordan of fucking whatever his thing. Michael Jordan of NASCAR. The Michael Jordan of home design. Just whatever.
The shot of him in, I think, Japan when he is like walking and he's in front of a huge picture of himself dunking.
Barcelona, Spain.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Barcelona. It was just like.
Well, that was genuine. He was walking down the street. I think the camera guys knew that was coming up on the block, but they were literally like, all right, we're going to just, walk around. And so he's walking and he looks up and sees himself.
Yeah.
He did not know that he was about to walk past the building with that.
So great. Love it.
What's Michael Jordan's other nickname though? Is it in your list?
Oh yeah. So, okay. Well, that wasn't my number 5, but I'll do it now. His Airness.
His Airness is great.
His Airness is a great fucking name.
And Air Jordan is a great nickname. It is, but I just felt like there was more. It's almost too obvious to put on top.
It's too obvious, but like at first minute, his Airness was like a next level. So that's my number 5. Like Michael Jordan, his Airness.
All right, I love that one. My number 4 is Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
The Answer.
Yes.
I saw that one looking up today, and I was like, "That's amazing."
It's one of the coolest nicknames. He was such an influential. He was like the first. He almost inspired the and one movement. That was already going around, but like he kind of made it mainstream because he was so next level with his handles. That was when people first started calling handles. Like, oh man, he's got great handles. Because before they would just call ball handling or his, dribbling skills. And then they nicknamed handles. And that crossover, that Allen Iverson crossover was such a next level move. And it was a move that inspired so many people.
Crossover.
Yeah. And he would come up with new versions of the crossover and all this other stuff. And for him to be a dude that was just 6 foot, 160 pounds soaking wet, and to score the way he did and to get banged around and to he took some abuse in those early days. Because he entered the league when big men were a thing still. Yeah. And then he transitioned through to the next era in which the ball was being spread out more.
And that's when you got like Allen Iverson and like Damon Stoudemire. Like that's before the time like Grant Hill, like
Penny Hardaway.
So
Iverson came in like 95, 96, and he was still a star up until 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
So, he bridged the gap between both eras.
Yeah.
He was still relevant and an all-star when LeBron was playing. Like he was on an all-star team with LeBron, and he was on an all-star team with Jordan.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like that's why it's always fascinating when people talk about the NBA. We can do a whole nother episode about who's the GOAT, but the players who have played with both of them all say Jordan is the GOAT. And there's like one guy who's played with both of them that says LeBron, and that was like a LeBron teammate.
Yeah.
So like, the guy gets you your bread and butter. You got to feed him.
Got to.
So yeah, Iverson, the answer. And what I like about it too is I remember when people would try to like be tough with like Iverson, the answer to what question? You know what your response is? Don't fucking worry about it. I love that too. Like, what's the question? Don't fucking worry about it. That's what you get to say to that.
Yeah.
He's the answer to all the questions.
Yeah.
He's Allen Iverson.
I read it as he's the answer to the problem. If they're down by 10, what do? You send in
third down by 10 for basketball.
I know, but like it's
Yeah.
What's the
Third
problem?
down by 10
I don't
for
know
basketball?
who this guy is at all.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's obvious.
We just talked about basketball for it's really embarrassing. I don't know if you should talk the rest of the
You're
episode
down
for that
by
one.
10.
You said, but no, the
If it's
third
the third
down.
quarter, he means third quarter.
You mean third quarter?
I didn't even say the word 3. I said you're down by 10.
Oh.
Like
I
10
thought I
I
heard him
just
say it's
misunderstood
the third and you're down
I heard
by
it's
10.
third down.
Oh,
Yeah.
no,
I didn't hear
say the
third
word
down.
You know what? You're right.
Down.
We're assholes.
That's right. Send in the answer. What does it mean?
All right, so the answer is my fourth. What's your fourth?
My fourth, well, something came up that I wanted to mention, but I can't because I forgot because I'm an idiot. Why did I mention that? I don't know. But my fourth is this: Rod Smart. He hate me.
That's for XFL guy, right?
Yeah.
He hate me with
He hate me.
cover.
That's my favorite thing because he goes, they go, he hate me. Where'd they come from? You know why? Because he hate me. He hate me. He hate me. Because he's so good. And I was like, that's the greatest fucking name.
I do love cocky shit like that.
Uh-huh.
Sports. The cockiest quotes we should do once for sports.
Yeah.
And in life. There's some good ones that are just out there in the world.
Yeah.
From like fucking world leaders and shit that are
Dude,
pretty
I mean,
great.
he hate me is like,
That's so
it's
good.
the only thing you remember from the XFL. It's like the only thing you remember.
That was on
Yeah.
his jersey, right? Because
It
It was on his jersey, yeah,
So
yeah.
Can you imagine chasing a guy and you can't catch him and you're
Just, he
seeing
hate me?
that, He hate me.
Well,
Right
remember
away.
that I remember from the XFL, and the other thing I remember from the first incarnation of the XFL was when they had the two guys running to see who got the ball first, and that's who would get the
And
ball.
everyone got hurt.
And they get concussions and shit.
Yeah.
It's the stupidest
They
thing in the world.
fucked up. It's funny because the first one, it was like really amazing. And then everyone afterwards, everybody
They
got
all
hurt.
got their
yeah.
twist ankles, tear ACLs. It was so stupid. And the NFL was like, this is why we just flip a coin. Nobody actually gives a shit about
Yeah.
who gets the ball first. All right, so my number 3, very obvious one, Magic Johnson. The nickname Magic. It replaced, real quick, it replaced his first name. Most people think his first name is Magic, but also here's why I like it. And this is kind of a shout out to my buddy Gareth Reynolds. And no disrespect to Gareth, there's about 50 comedians who have done a Magic Johnson joke. He's a guy who beat AIDS, and his nickname is Magic Johnson. So my buddy Gareth Reynolds' joke is his nickname translates to Wizard Dick. Of course, he beats AIDS. Because like you're Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
Come on, no wonder he's banging.
you know the conspiracy theory on that one, right?
What's that?
Is that this was during the time when people were misrepresenting or misdiagnosing AIDS.
Also, never actually had it.
Yeah.
Well, it was HIV.
But
He was diagnosed with HIV.
HIV.
It turned into AIDS.
But that's the thing is like that people are misdiagnosing HIV. So the whole thing is like he was like a movement for like you can survive and you can be good and all stuff. So the conspiracy theory is that he never really had HIV.
Really? I mean, maybe.
But he's an autoimmune. Obviously, he's an autoimmune disorder, but like disease. But like that's the. But also, it's like it was hard.
Why
for
would
me
he end his career short for that though?
because
People forget he was 31 when he got it.
that's also also.
like
I can't
6
believe
more
he's older than me.
seasons.
I can't believe he's younger than me.
Yeah.
But no, that's my point. My point is like they got it, but later on they got it wrong. Is my point.
I think it just shows you that when you're really rich, you can afford a lot of great medicines.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
I know.
Because now HIV is not a thing anymore.
But
because
like
we
Magic
actually
is
put
his
in research
name.
to
Like,
funding.
that's why I didn't do Tiger Woods because Tiger is Tiger.
Oh, no,
All right,
good.
that's fair. But I honestly, when
It's
I
like
thought
Shaq.
about when
Shaq is Shaq.
well, he's got Diesel, which is cool.
Oh, Shaq Diesel. Oh, that's
Shaq
good.
Daddy
That is-
Diesel.
yes.
Cranking
Oh,
up
Daddy
the
You're right.
Diesel.
Yeah, I forgot about Diesel. That's really good.
Do that thing too.
But like Penny Hardaway, I feel like.
Tiger Woods, Penny Hardaway. All right, I guess you could say those don't count.
I liked your Magic because the
But
nickname's
my rationale-
so good. Like Tiger
so good.
is so good that no
It's-
one knows his first name. That's
with,
incredible.
With a top 5 list like that, there are some names that are so obvious. You're like, I got to throw them in there, but I also wanted to throw in ones that some people wouldn't know. Like the answer probably isn't in most people's top 5.
Yeah.
no, but
should be.
It's so good though.
It's
Yeah,
really good.
My next 2 might be, but I'm going to leave Magic. I guess you could give me some.
It's good. It is
grief
really
for
good.
that.
Yeah.
If not, fine. Here, along Magic, because I just remembered this earlier today on the ride over and I forgot to write it down. Baseball player, Chicago Cub, multi-time All-Star, one of the best defensive players of the last 5 years at the shortstop position. Strikes out way too much now. Career kind of took a nosedive when he left the Cubs. Javi Baez nickname, El Mago, which is Spanish for the magician.
Right. Oh, that's
Mago.
fun. Oh, I like
It's a
that.
fucking
That's
dope
fun.
name.
I like that.
So I'll do that one. But
That's fun.
Magic Johnson, I give more points to because it's like Magic Johnson.
It's a great name.
And
I mean, Magic
he
is
didn't
just
have
the
the
best.
whole thing of beating HIV. With
Yeah.
the,
And that's a time when he's just like he's just such an incredible
he was
player,
another revolutionary
performer.
player. Yeah.
Incredible. So my favorite, I don't think I just said this. Sorry if I did. But
is
did I
your-
tell about Reggie Jackson yet?
This is your number 3. No, you did not. Go ahead with Reggie Jackson.
Mr. October.
Mr. October is amazing.
It's amazing.
You own a month.
You own a whole fucking month.
You know what?
You are like, that's what we were talking about wrestling like before. Like you came here, and it's like Shawn Michaels is like Mr. WrestleMania.
Yeah,
where it's like you are the championship.
Yeah,
like that's with like Mr. October. You are the championship.
Yeah, that is so awesome. Mr. October is one of the greatest nicknames of all time.
It's amazing.
And damn it, he lived up to it. So the baseball playoffs and World Series are in October.
Oh, okay.
And he was so dominant every year at that time. They were like, "This is Mr. October. This is he lives for this time of year."
For the playoff, damn.
When all eyes are on the sport, he rises to the occasion. Really cool fucking dude. He's a very quotable guy as well.
Yeah, and just a good guy too.
Yeah, seems that way. My number 2.
I heard he hit my mom though. I don't know. I said that.
My number 2's got a Chicago connection. One of the greatest NFL teams of all time, the 1985 Bears. The Bears. Super Bowl Shuffle.
Here it is.
I got William the Refrigerator Perry.
I hate this.
The refrigerator, the fridge.
I'm gonna fight you on this one.
Massive fucking dude, which by the way, massive at the time, but like probably like average size now for a fucking defensive lineman. But he was just big, and if you ran into him, he was going to stuff you. They even handed the ball off to him a few times at the goal line because no one was tackling that motherfucker. But the fridge, I mean, William Refrigerator Perry to me is just one of the coolest nicknames of all time.
That's like if I go whatever Magic Mikowski that will play the quarterback for the fucking Packers.
You just don't like the Bears, but know that's a
you
good
don't come
nickname.
ask you. That's probably where it's coming from.
Yeah, that's where it's coming from.
Okay, that is a good one.
What's your deuce? Your number 2.
Okay, so a part of me wants to do Larry Johnson Grandmama, but I'm not going to do that. Just because it's great. I'm going to do. God damn it, man! I'm sorry, Babe Ruth, Sultan of SWAT.
That's a great one. Don't be sorry for that one.
Yeah,
he's got so many, and
he's got so many. It's so aggressive
impactful.
when you say it too. Sultan. I mean, you're just doing Sandlot, but like it's
Sultan of SWAT.
Sultan of SWAT.
The Colossus.
The Great
Cloud.
Bambino. The Sultan of
Titan
SWAT.
of Terror. Like
But the Sultan of SWAT is
really
just that's really fucking cool.
You know who I want to do an honorable mention for, but I hate Liverpool. I don't hate it as a city. I'm sure it's a great city. I'm wearing a Beatles hat there from Liverpool. But Mo Salah, he's an Egyptian star. He's great. I can't take it away from him. But like I'm a Man City fan, so there's a rivalry there. But his nickname is the Pharaoh.
Oh, that's fun.
Because he's from Egypt.
Yeah.
The Pharaoh's a cool fucking name too. I thought about what
I do honorable mention. I do like the hick from French Lick.
Oh, Larry Bird.
Larry Bird.
That's a good one.
It's a good one.
That's fun. It's a fun one too.
Yeah.
All right, here comes my number 1. And this is the anniversary of my father's passing 3 years ago.
Oh, I think we're the same.
I'll never forget watching TV with him. And this player, who was only retired for about 2 years at this point, was on the commercial. It was Just for Men, Get Out the Gray commercial. And it shows him hitting on someone at the bar, and the women weren't interested. And my dad said, there's no way that someone with the nickname, The Big Unit, has trouble picking up
Randy
women.
Johnson, really?
Randy Johnson, who's a 6'11" pitcher. I believe he was listed at 6'11".
The
Which, side note,
clip is the best clip
oh
ever.
my God. One of the best clips in sports history is him throwing a fastball and a bird flies in its path and the bird blows up.
That's him.
Just a
Yeah.
puff
I've
of
seen that. It
bird
explodes.
feather.
Wow.
Insane.
Explodes.
He was so intimidating. First of all, the dude's 6'10", 6'11". He was a lefty. So when the ball came out of his hand, he's so much closer to you because his stride is so close. Side note, if you're 6'11", just lie and say you're 7 feet. Who's going to call you on that?
Right.
Like if you met a dude and you're like, well, how tall are you? And he's like 7 feet. Would you be like, I think 6'11"? You couldn't tell because he's so much higher than you. Anyway, long mullet hair.
Yeah.
Fucking scowl. Just like fucking a guy that just looked like wanted to kill you. His nickname, the Big Unit.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Also, best player on Ken Griffey Jr. SNES.
He's one of the greatest pitchers of all time. He won multiple Cy Youngs, led the league in strikeouts pretty much most of his time on the mound. Struck out 20 guys in a game, one of only like 4 pitchers to do that. World Series winner. Guy was incredible.
Yeah.
So what's your number 1?
I think we might have mentioned this, but like I just love it so much. But like Black Mamba. I mean,
Kobe Bryant's Black Mamba.
Is either that or King James? Like King James is a fucking great name.
It's a great nickname.
But Black Mamba's like
he
so
lived
much
up
better.
to the hype a lot of ways. He's not the GOAT, but you could call him the king. He's the king of his era. LeBron James, it's undeniable. He is one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
All time.
And I do like him as a person, although the flopping pisses me off. But he doesn't do it anymore. Black Mamba.
Black Mamba. That's such a cool
silky,
fucking
smooth,
name,
cool
dude.
nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we talk about like Shaq. Shaq's like,
by the way, Jordan's other nickname, Black Jesus, we forgot about, which is really cool.
Right.
Fuck, man. Black Mamba, I'll give you. The reason I just don't like that he gave it to himself. Although I've had a few friends of mine call me the Red Mamba. I've been called the Red Mamba by a few people. Yeah. One friend at Towns comedian.
Can I tell you something? I will never second that.
Okay. I got called the Red Rocket once online, and then Andrew Santino's fans came after me. Like, who the fuck are you? And to the point where Santino even was like, what's going on with this shit? Because his fans started messaging him going, this dude's trying to steal your nickname. And me and Santino were buddies, right?
Yeah.
I go, dude, one friend fucking tagged me in something as the Red Rocket. Some people saw it and gave me shit. I don't call myself that. That's not my nickname. He's like, dude, I don't give a fuck. I was just wondering why they were tagging me in this shit. I'm like, yeah, he didn't care. We laughed it off. But anyway, Red Mamba was a nickname that Mike Bridenstine, very funny comedian.
Oh, yeah.
Great book, great comedian. He gave me that nickname. I like it.
Yeah.
We got to get you a nickname. I really like the one. What did we come up with him again?
Beef
jerky.
I don't hate that.
Beef Jurkens.
No, I don't. I hate all of that.
We'll play with it.
I don't want any of that.
Well, thank you, listeners, for checking out. We are back. We're going to be back in the stride, doing episodes every week for you. Jonah's probably not going out of town for a while. We could announce too. March 7th and 8th, we'll be back at Mic Drop Comedy Club. What?
He's going out of town this weekend.
Where the fuck are you going this weekend?
Go Royal Rumble.
Oh, Royal Rumble. We'll be back Monday, though.
Yeah.
Oh, but we're not missing any episodes, is my point.
No.
Hell yeah. March 7th and 8th, Mic Drop Comedy Club in the Phoenix area, Chandler, Arizona specifically. Hopefully the listeners can come out to that. We had Chad and TJ come out last year, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Really good dudes. Hopefully they could come back out to that.
Such fans. I'm fans of them.
I'm fans of them.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for listening to Let's Get Dumb. Cheers.